Hey, church. Over the last few weeks, we have been doing devotionals centered around the lives of various missionaries or mission-minded people. And a lot of these people have really intense and crazy stories. People who have given up their life, who have been arrested or faced severe hardship or even persecution to spread the good news of Jesus. But not every mission story is like that. In fact, most probably mission stories are just ordinary people like you and me. They're not superhumans, and they go and they serve Jesus with varying degrees of success in those places, and a lot of their stories we never hear about. Because they don't come with a big celebration or a dramatic end or something. And so today I just want to spend a few minutes talking about one of those missionaries that, maybe wasn't a big name in mission and yet had an amazing impact on so many people, including people here at this church. Now, the thing is, I want to see if you can guess who it is that I'm talking about. So let me tell you a little bit about this missionary. This missionary was born here in Australia in 1932. He grew up during the World War and in a time in Australia where there was much uncertainty, war, and economic collapse because of everything that was going on. And yet, at the age of 15, in 1947, he graduated from high school. He got his high school certificate. And then he went on to attend Hawkesbury Ag College, where he learned all kinds of skills about agriculture and farming and plantation development, which would all be helpful skills later on. When he was there, he got involved. He visited a mission church that was meeting in Punchbowl. And the director of this mission church was speaking about an opportunity in the Central Highlands of New Guinea to go and start a plantation and to teach the local people about Jesus. So this person felt like they had some of the agricultural knowledge, but not the Bible knowledge. And so on top of all the work that they had been doing, they attended a Bible college in Melbourne. Then at the age of 21, this person got called up and headed to first New Britain and then eventually to Papua New Guinea, where this person at 21 years old, imagine what you were doing at 21 years old, learned the Pidgin dialect that the locals spoke there. He was trained in medical skills to be able to provide care for local villagers who didn't even have modern medicine. And out of nothing started a coffee plantation. At 24, this man returned back to Australia briefly to meet with the mission director who had sent him. And this mission director, his daughter, happened to meet and fall in love. And a year later, they got married. And they had a quick honeymoon, returned to Papua New Guinea, go straight into the mission field at newly marrieds heading to Papua New Guinea, where they would serve for the next 10 years of their life or so. Again, they were not in the city. They were out in the middle of the jungle, and they built their own house, this really modest, small house with none of the sort of modern things that we think of. And so they had to sort of make their own wood fire stove and that sort of thing, and had to source their own water. And while they were there, they did a number of things. This missionary built a processing plant for the coffee plantation, built a hydroelectric plant to generate and send out electricity. He built his very own airstrip, so other sort of missionaries and medical professionals could come in to this area of New Guinea that they were serving in and land their planes and provide the materials, as well as growing their coffee plantation. All the while, this person was spending time with the local people, telling them the good news about Jesus. Now, this person was not flashy and not someone that would ever want to draw attention to themselves. And yet over a long period of time, they built something, a mission field from the ground up, and impacted hundreds of local people who came to know and put their faith and trust in Jesus. After their time in New Guinea, they returned to Sydney, where this person was ordained in Epping Baptist Church, and not too long after that, they returned back to New Guinea for a few years to continue to work there before again returning to be able to earn a bachelor's degree in human sciences, in counseling, which would aid him in his later career in caring for people and counseling families and married people. In 1996, this missionary retired in DY and was a pastor of a number of churches, including Narrabeen Baptist Church, for a short period of time, and then would work really diligently up at the war vets, caring for people, running services, praying for people, providing pastoral care and counseling. And he did this up until he passed away only a year ago. If you don't know who I'm talking about, I'm speaking of our very own beloved brother in Christ, Jimthorpe. He and his wife, Lorna, were heavyweights for Jesus. And yet, you look at them, you talk with them, you spend any amount of time with them, they're the most humble, normal, modest people that you would ever meet. Jim and I became really good friends over the last 11 years. And he became my personal mentor. I'd come and I'd cry and I'd pray, and that time he would just speak God's gentle truth and made me feel like I was someone who was worth something. And this is what Jim did for every single human that he came in contact with. This man who had been through so much and seen the ups and downs of life, who wasn't flashy, who would never have a book ever written about him or his story or his mission activity recorded somewhere. He was just a normal guy, and yet he loved Jesus through and through. And because of his love for Jesus, he wanted to care for others, to walk alongside others, to be a friend to the friendless, to provide rest and care for those who are restless and full of worries. And after Jim passed away last year, I had the blessing to be able to conduct his funeral service. And since then, I've constantly said, if I could be like anyone for the rest of my life, however many years that I have left, I hope my life looks even a smidge like Jimthorpe's. Someone who, again, is never going to be a Christian celebrity, so to speak. He's just a normal person who loved Jesus and shared that love everywhere he went. Viewed everyone as someone who is worthy to know and hear the good news about Jesus, and he spent time loving and caring for people. My hope is that, as I said, I can be a lot like Jim. And the thing is that you can as well. It doesn't take someone who's super holy or has their whole life together or who can draw huge crowds of people in or who has the right words. You can be just like Jim, modest, humble, quiet, normal, and yet have this great love for Jesus that just exudes that you cannot help but keep it, to share it with those around you rather than keep it to yourself. So, I want to celebrate and thank God for Jim's life, and I pray that both for myself and for us, that we may look a lot like Jim, who looks to me a lot like Jesus. So, I hope that you enjoy this little reflection over Jim's life, and may you and I go and do likewise. See you later.